Greetings, everyone. Welcome to my sketchbook. It's Friday morning. Every once in a while, I like to go and buy a pack of these Pokemon trading cards. And yeah, I don't know a lot about Pokemon, but I thought this is a fun way to introduce myself to this thing, just to see a character I haven't seen before and then just draw it. This is part of the Scarlet and Scarlet and Violet Destined Rivals booster pack thing. So yeah, we're gonna open this up, see what's inside, and then draw whatever it is. Well, I'll pick something that I think looks kind of neat. So I don't always open these things up nicely. Then I don't really want to wreck the cards just in case there's something in there that somebody wants. So some codes on here, I guess, for doing stuff online. I don't think I need that, so I'll set that aside. All right, so let's see what we have here. And yeah, okay. Quilava, Nidorina, Baltoy, Stevens Baltoy, Sudowoodo, Melodic, Team Rocket Factory, Lurantis, Razor Leaf, Shyman, is that Raticate? Raticate? Okay. Spidops and Energy. I don't really like any of those, really, but I guess the sort of win should happen maybe with that thing. So I guess it's a rat, kind of a round-shaped creature. Stage 1, it says. So if that's the creature there, it has some sort of bulbous something thing happening with its tail, and well, that's interesting. So I guess if that's the Team Rocket Factory and this is part of Team Rocket, okay. I don't know if there's anything else that I can kind of pick up from this. This isn't. Yeah, anyway, so I'm going to try to draw something related to that, I think. Because, yeah, that's kind of what I feel like doing. I didn't get around to cleaning the pen. Let's see here. But I will do it this weekend, I think. So this is a demonstrator pen, and yeah, no, it's something that I don't fill. I just dip it. But anyway, so that's this creature. I don't know if it has a metal-like tail. I don't see this well enough to say what is going on with the tip of it, and there's nothing down here. It does show one of the Team Rocket members. So as far as its power is concerned, Reckless Abandon. Well, if you know, let me know in the comments. We'll see what we can do here. So let's start off by zooming in and just go from there. All right, I'm going to set that off to one side. I don't know if I really need that. All right, now what do I want to do with this creature? Well, I'm going to start by drawing some version of the nose. Now, I don't know if they're naturally aggressive or if Team Rocket basically trains them to become, you know, malevolent in some way. I hope that's not the case. I mean, that they're naturally malevolent. I think the Pokemon are generally good-natured, are they not, when they're born? And then it's kind of a nurture kind of thing that happens. I don't know. You can only speculate so much with these things. And I want to stay kind of true to some part of the design with whatever's going on. Beyond that, well, I'm going to use my imagination with most of this anyway, so it has like little points on the ears. Now, it looks kind of cat-like, but, you know, we'll figure it out. I don't know what this creature's like in battle, who it kind of can align itself with, you know, to be a buddy in battle form. Sometimes Pokemon do that, I guess, that they work well with other creatures. Now, I think I'm going to have like one of these teeth chipped. Just because, you know, when you gnaw on things, you have to figure out stuff, I guess. How about that? The bottom row of teeth, well, let's have it showing just a little bit. And Raticate, if that's the name, I can look that up. So typically what I do with these videos is I get introduced to a character that I've never seen before because I don't really follow the Pokemon world. And then I'll watch a video of the creature in battle and just kind of learn something about them. And that way, yeah, well, maybe it's something that's interesting and I might talk about it sometime down the road. Now, the creature itself, like, I don't know what's going on here, if that's part of the jaw, or if these are like pectoral muscles. I don't know what's going on with that. And like I said, I can't see, although there is like a little magnifying glass here. I don't think that's going to help me out any. Let's just hold it right up to the camera. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I have no idea. All right, so let's let this focus back up again. And let's continue with this drawing. All right. So let's figure out something with the body. Oops. So back here I have one of its little paws, it seems to only have like a total of 3 digits. So I'll stay true to that. So that's kind of the rough thing that I got going on with that. We'll have the other part of the body here. Trailing arm. So we get a little bit smaller as it moves away from our viewpoint. I'll try to add detail a little bit after I kind of rough out some of the parts of the body, I think. But I wanted to do sort of maybe another view of the leaping part of whatever's going on with this creature. I'm going to give it a slight knees. That's what that's going to be there. This one's going to be way back. So straight leg back. Tail-wise, do I want it to come up over the head or down low? We're going to back this out just a little bit. So what if it came back this way? No, so we have this hand that's forward a little bit. This one's back. What if we had it come off this way? So let's say it kind of skips back around here and ends up here or here. Let's have it go kind of off that way there. But then let's have it, yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to have, dip the pen. I'm going to start off with figuring out the line that I want to use, and then it'll start off sort of narrow back here. Let it get a little narrow. Okay. Let it widen out. And then whatever this bulbous thing here, I'm going to assume it's almost like an energy weapon of some kind. Like it can direct some sort of force. Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Okay, so now we're going to try to add a little bit of detail to this as we go. A little bit here, a little here. So some of the stuff that I like to do when it's detail time. I'm going to put in the eyes a little bit here if I can. I will go with a slight Bit of anger in there too. Some upper shading. A little moon glow in the top right and bottom corners of the eye. Ooh, maybe I should leave those alone and I could add red in after. No, we'll keep it all black and white. Sometimes it's good to just be black and white with this. So we'll let it stay dark. And if I decide to do another version of this, then perhaps I will do a color version of this. Now let's see. I don't want its whiskers to get lost in the other part of the body. And when I'm ready, I'll do a darker outline on that. Now it's true, I've never played Pokemon Go either. So when that first came out, something didn't make sense to me with how that game was played and why you would end up, training your Pokemon or finding the Pokemon in certain places. Something about that seemed off to me. Like I didn't know why you'd end up at certain locations, and the game was something that you could play for free. So something about that felt like either information was being sold, or there was a good chance that wherever players would end up, they were being directed there, kind of either, like let's say somebody paid to have people come to their location. But when this first started coming around for certain places, people were like walking out in traffic to capture Pokemon. So it was kind of a dangerous thing. Of course, now people have found out that information that they were out there gathering with their phones, I'm not saying that I had a knowledge of this, it's just it wasn't something that I had an interest in. Anyway, so yeah, people's phones were gathering information. This information is going on to being used to train, let's say, AIs. So everyone did this work for free, which is pretty wild that happened. Now, some part of this, if I had fangs, this would look a lot like a bat. I mean, I'm the person who drew it, but still. Get the lower teeth here, make sure that they are kind of prominent as well. Now, most rats have a dark nose, but this one has an underside and lower jaw that's the same color. So if I was coloring this, the nose, this part of the jowl, and the belly would all be the same color, and then be darker brown for the upper part of the body, but not super concerned about that at the moment. If you're drawing along and you're going with a different look, that's pretty cool. Feel free to do as you see fit. Now, it's fun for me to just draw without doing the pre-penciling first, and that way if I make any fun little mistakes, well, I end up having to keep those little mistakes. And this is just something in my sketchbook. So this is just fun stuff. And then something that I like to do, rather than crosshatch or shade in the shade parts, I will often use a brush and water. I like to consider that the water is an extra friend, if that makes sense, where it'll just sort of pick a different pathway. So I'm a fan of doing that. Let's see. Now this one, as I said, is kind of trailing back a little bit. Put a slight little heel like that. Whatever these fluffy sort of pectoral muscles, we'll let those kind of hover, I guess. I'm probably going to be really surprised when I watch the video battle with this Pokemon to find out what this thing is all about. Now, I made the arms a lot longer, of course. There's different detail that you can just kind of figure out on your own. But these things in their basic stage one, they're usually closer to egg shape because they're born out of eggs, right? So I've learned that much at least. But they start off staying in that egg shape until they evolve. Now, it'd be interesting if this tail acted a little bit like a scorpion kind of tail, so that would be interesting. Some sort of stinging type thing that it could do, but rather than have like a spike, it would be done by an energy source of some kind. Let's try to separate some part of the arm and body of this creature. Okay, so I have little wisps of power. Be funny to find out that it's like instead of a stinger, it's some sort of stinker. You could just put some stink out there or something. I don't know what rats do. You know, if this rat enjoys Subway pizza or something like that when visiting New York, that'd be funny. So yeah, I'm really making up whatever this power might be, because I have no idea. All right, Now, before I do the final part of the detail of this, I'm going to get out a cup with some water in it. I have a #1 detailing brush, which works well enough for me. I can get finer detailing, but this moves a lot of water reasonably quick. And then if I need to, I have a tissue nearby. I'm staying around the eyes first because that is amongst the most detailed things that I like to do is the eyes. So if I mess that up, that's the fun thing to try to fix after. See that weird sort of scratchy thing that's being left behind? That to me is the fun stuff about using water. Now I can get back in there and I can add a bit more ink, and I feel like I could just draw out shade. That's fun. The ears. Staying close to the outside starting. That way I can go here to the middle. Let that become a little bit darker. Now if you get a chance to look at some of my old videos, and I'll put one up for one of the last ones that I did, which was Riolu. I mean, you can tell I've made some pretty ugly mistakes not knowing what these creatures are. I honestly thought that Riolu was some sort of a cat creature in the first attempt. Yeah, I'm not really that familiar with some of these creatures, but I'm happy to show mistakes because we're all capable of that. Now, the back of the hand, a little bit on the fingers here, and then underside. I'll do a little bit more around the eyes here so that they kind of pop a little bit. Now, if there's something that you need me to know before I watch some sort of battle video, you know, give me a heads up, or if you want me to just be surprised, I probably won't watch one of the videos until later on today, or maybe even tomorrow morning as a Saturday morning cartoon break or something like that, which I like to do once in a while just to familiarize myself with some of the fun goings on in the animation world. I like to save that for a Saturday morning kind of treat because that's what I did when I was a kid. Was Saturday mornings was cartoon time. You get a bowl of cereal, sometimes like I like a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Well, that's the real deal business as far as I'm concerned, as far as candy like cereals go. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So as always, if there's something that you'd like to see me do, let me know, because I like surprises. If there's a character that I should focus on just because it'd be kind of fun, let me know, because that'd be kind of fun. Yeah, well, as per usual, you know how YouTube works. If you want, you can subscribe, you can comment, you can like. Some videos you can hype, I guess, too, which is also a thing. You can turn on notifications, but I've said this before. Yeah, you don't have to turn on notifications. It's not much fun to have somebody send you a message because they, frequently post. So check back again every once in a while. That's usually what I would say to people. And, you don't have to have a little message sent to you. You might have like a little notification red dot that might show up to say that, hey, someone that you're subscribing to might have some new content. But yeah, I can post something like 4 or 5 times a week because as a personal sort of drawing exercise thing, I sit down and draw almost every day. I think that's important to just constantly do stuff like that. I also spend time writing, although I don't post that stuff. I do a little bit of custom work. So let's say it might be like invitation cards or whatnot with some calligraphy. So that kind of stuff's fun. And I don't post that stuff either. That's usually because that stuff's for people specifically and not really like a public thing. Let's see. Just the final waterworks, as I call it. Sometimes waterworks refers to tears. Now, because the lower side of the body is light, I'm only going to do a light bit of shading underneath here because I want that to kind of maintain some lightness under here. But I want these whiskers to stand out just a little bit, and then I'm going to go back in for the final bit of detailing. Do a little bit on the underside of the hand here, although not necessary. Go a little bit darker on the top. Okay. Just cleaning the brush now. Set the cup on the floor because I don't want that thing to tip over accidentally. Dip the pen. And the final thing that I'm going to do here is just some outlining. Something that I also do is I will trade out the pens that I use to do certain tasks a little easier. So one pen that, if you go back through some of my older videos, you'll see me use a desk pen through most of the videos. I still have that pen. That to me, and I will say this many, many times, it's kind of like I call it my workhorse. But for fun, I wanted to use this one a little bit more. This is a pretty cool pen. And all the pens that I own, I try to use, other than certain collectible type pens, but I still want them to be a usable thing. right now, just the final kind of details before I let this go as a doodle taken to a level of it just being kind of a drawing. So I hope I retained enough of the elements of the creature. With this, as I said, I have no idea who this is. Team Rockets, Raticate. Maybe that's sort of like a play on a phrase like to eradicate something. That almost makes sense. I don't really understand Team Rocket, why they have to be so miserable. They don't like to lose, I guess, from what I've seen. And they lose a lot. So that's got to be disappointing. And right now I'm just putting in a little bit of detail back in the eyes, since I blurred them a little bit with the brush and water technique that I use. Okay. Like I said, there's some part of this that kind of looks a little bit like a bat, but bats, of course, are indeed related as far as rodent creatures go. They are mammals. All right. Look at that. Got to be careful when you're playing around with ink. Then, you know, if I'm not careful with if there's ink on my finger and I move it around, well, then you make a mess. All right, well, I think that's going to be it. I'll do just a little around there. So yeah, well, I think that's basically it. I don't know if there's much else that I need to do on this doodle. I think that's enough of a doodle thing for what that is. So thanks for hanging out for a little bit. Let me know what you think in the comments. And then, yeah, whatever that thing is, I guess I'll figure that out soon. So, all right. Ciao for now.